Let's go Browns! There's a lot to cover as we head into Sunday's matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we've got some big takeaways from this week. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for all of it. Before we dive into today's update, be sure to hit that like button and join us to stay informed. Let's get to it. First, let's talk about Jerry Jeudy. He's letting his career-best performance on Monday night do the talking. After racking up an incredible 235 receiving yards against the Denver Broncos, Jeudy has been the talk of the league, and we're not the only ones praising him. Even All-Pro receiver Steve Smith Sr., who has been critical of Jeudy in the past, had to swallow his shame this week. On his podcast, Smith admitted that Jeudy's performance was nothing short of spectacular, calling it a look-at-me game and praising him for living up to the hype. Now, Jeudy has taken the high road with all this attention. When asked about Smith's comments, Jeudy simply said, "No comment. That's class, Browns fans." And while some may be disappointed that he didn't get AFC Offensive Player of the Week honors that went to Josh Allen, who had a historic game, Jeudy has kept his focus on the big picture, winning games. He's proving that he's not just a talented receiver, he's a team-first guy, and that's the kind of mentality this team needs right now. Speaking of the team, there's some encouraging news on the injury front. Safety Juan Thornhill returned to practice this week after sitting out against the Broncos with a calf injury. His presence on the field could make a big difference against the Steelers, especially with how physical these divisional contests tend to be. Meanwhile, defensive tackle Maurice Hurst too missed Thursday's practice, along with Cedric Tillman, Sam Kamara, and Jedrick Wills Jr., so there are still some questions about Sunday. Now, let's talk strategy. Special Teams Coordinator Bubba Ventrone has made it clear that the team needs to stay disciplined in Pittsburgh. There were some heated moments last time these two teams met, with George Pickens and Browns defenders getting into post-play scuffles. Ventrone put it bluntly, "Don't do dumb, expletive." The message is simple: let the Steelers do the talking after the whistle, and the Browns will do their talking during the game. It's the kind of focus and control that could be key to pulling off a win in enemy territory. And here's the thing about playing in Pittsburgh, it's been a house of horrors for the Browns. The team hasn't won a regular season game there since 2003, and they haven't swept the Steelers in a season since 1988. Let that sink in for a moment. It's been decades of frustration, but there's no better time to change that narrative than now. Grant Delpit summed it up perfectly when he learned about these stats, saying, "Dang. Hopefully, it comes to an end." If there's a silver lining to Monday's loss against the Broncos, it's that the Browns' offense finally showed some explosiveness, with Jeudy leading the charge. His chemistry with quarterback Jameis Winston has been building week by week, and it's clear that Winston trusts him in critical moments. Since coming to Cleveland, Jeudy has emerged as a top weapon, now sitting at 5th in the league in receiving yards with 880 yards on the season. Over the past 5 games alone, he's racked up 614 yards and proven to be a game-changer. Even head coach Kevin Stefanski, who rarely dishes out individual praise, had high words for Jeudy this week. He called him a highly intelligent player, capable of mastering complex formations and motions, and credited him with elevating the Browns' offense. Coming from a coach as measured as Stefanski, that's saying something. Now, Sunday's game is shaping up to be one of the biggest tests of the season. The Steelers are fighting for playoff positioning, and their defense, led by TJ Watt and a now healthy Alex Highsmith, won't make it easy. But if Jeudy can replicate even a fraction of his Monday night magic, and the defense continues to step up, this team has a chance to pull off a statement win. It's not just about breaking curses or silencing critics, it's about proving that the Browns can compete in one of the toughest divisions in football. So, Browns fans, I want to hear from you. Can the Browns finally end their drought in Pittsburgh? Will Jerry Jeudy continue his hot streak and help the team pull off the upset? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's talk about Jameis Winston, who is coming off a roller coaster performance against the Broncos in Week 13. On one hand, he set a franchise record with an incredible 497 passing yards, surpassing Josh McCown's mark from 2015. Winston also threw 4 touchdowns, showcasing his ability to make big plays and keep the Browns' offense in the game. But here's the flip side. He threw 3 interceptions, 2 of which were returned for touchdowns. These costly mistakes ultimately contributed to the loss. So, what's Winston's mindset as he prepares for the Steelers? It's all about focus and accountability. In his words, you can't go into a game thinking about turnovers. The only thing you can do is go into the game focusing on protecting the football. Winston emphasized fundamentals, technique, and staying present in the moment. It's clear that he's not dwelling on past mistakes, but instead looking ahead with a plan to lead his team to victory. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey also weighed in, praising Winston's accountability and determination to improve. Jameis is the first one to admit his mistakes, Dorsey said. At the end of the day, the quarterback has the ultimate responsibility, and we're working to clean that up. It's a team effort, and while there's room for improvement, Winston's aggressive style has also been a key driver of the Browns' offensive success this season. Let's break it down. When Winston throws one or fewer interceptions, the Browns are 2-1. But when he throws multiple picks, there's 0-2. The takeaway? Protecting the football is absolutely critical, especially against the Steelers' defense that thrives on turnovers. Pittsburgh is tied for the league lead in fumble recoveries and ranks fourth in interceptions. Winston knows he'll need to balance his signature big play style with smart decision-making. Winston himself described the team's offensive philosophy as smart, not conservative. He's not shying away from taking shots downfield when the opportunity presents itself, but emphasized the importance of execution. Reflecting on two of his interceptions against the Broncos, Winston said, "The plays were there. I just didn't make the play. Moving forward, I'm going to make the play when it's time." This matchup against Pittsburgh is especially important as the Browns aim to sweep the Steelers for the first time since 1988. The stakes are high, and the challenges are real. But Winston's ability to stretch the field, combined with better ball security, could be the formula for success. On another note, let's touch on Nick Chubb and his uncertain future with the Browns. Coming off a tough season after his latest knee injury, Chubb's production hasn't been up to his usual standards. Through 6 games, he's averaged just 3.0 yards per carry, a far cry from his pre-injury dominance. While some believe he simply needs more time to regain his form, others worry that this injury might have permanently affected his game. One possible solution? A 1-year, incentive-heavy contract for next season. This type of deal could benefit both sides. It gives Chubb a chance to prove himself without the Browns overcommitting financially. If Chubb bounces back, it's a win-win. But if his struggles continue, Cleveland has the flexibility to reassess without taking on a big risk. It's a tough situation, but it's one the Browns need to handle carefully. All right, Browns fans, now it's your turn. What do you think about Winston's performance and his chances of turning things around against the Steelers? And what about Nick Chubb? Should the team bring him back on a short-term deal, or is it time to move on? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And before you go, don't forget to like this video if you're excited about this weekend's game and want more updates like this. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a beat. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, go Browns!